In the colonial times, lobster was seen as a poor man's food. They called it cockroach of the sea, frequently served to prisoners. Now they're so expensive, fine dining restaurants don't even put a price on them. So how did Larry crawl his way to the top? Today, we'll take a look at a bunch of these examples of glow up, each getting fancier as we go. Cause these aren't just a change in culinary preferences, they're the most successful marketing schemes in human history.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
The first ingredient we're showcasing today is guanciale, the pork jaw. I guess the pig is not into look maxing because the jawline is fat. It came straight from Italian shepherd culture and is used basically as a preserved, undesirable cut of pork and used anytime for calories. Because of the heavy salting, there's no need for refrigeration either. Cold pan, medium heat just to let it render the fat out. The climb from a low-quality farmer snack to a sought-after ingredient came about the expansion of Roman pasta culture, with leading dishes like the carbonara or amatriciana, which both uses guanciale. What we're doing today is the future canoe version of the amatriciana. So if you're Italian, you could skip to the 3-minute mark, cover your eyes, or don't be too mean in the comments. We're doing squid ink, which is also an unwanted ingredient by the fishermen at the time in the Mediterranean. Now this briny black ink is highly esteemed in fine dining and Michelin star kitchens. To complete the sauce, we'll grate in the vacche rosa, the red cow parmigiano. Guys, check out my tossing. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Okay, I'm gonna chill with that. So the key to guanciale-based dishes is always the emulsification of the starchy water and the fat. That's what I learned from Jamie Oliver, actually.
Use the water to stop the frying. Bit of water, bit of water. That water and the fat, that is what's going to emulsify to become a creamy sauce.
I really do think he's a good chef. It's just, he keeps trying to cook Asian food. Gotta dust it up. And black noodles, ready for the bigger, better experience. That is so rich. Not a single gram of salt in this whole dish, but it's perfectly seasoned. What's great about the tomato sauce base, there's this acidity to cut through the fat from the guanciale. More sustainable way to eat guanciale-based pasta. There's a word in Italian called cucina povera, symbolizing the culinary phenomenon in Italy where the food of the commoners gets to define the soul of the cuisine. This concept is not only beautiful, but logical. Throughout history, us peasants had to be creative with all ingredients. Rich and powerful people ain't got time to figure out how to make stuff taste good. They're too busy doing sketchy stuff on islands. Next one on the list, falafel, is probably the most fiercely contested dish in terms of geographical origin. Every single country in that area claims it, but according to my research, it seems to be Egyptian. It started off as an exclusive food for the streets, now it's made its way into fine dining restaurants. But the most important thing about falafel is the global popularity and the cultural symbolic value for many Arabic nations. So I have these soaked chickpeas from last night. You can't use canned or cooked. It has to be like dry, raw, and soaked. Cilantro, parsley, dill, some thyme flowers. My least favorite activity in cooking. 1 small onion, 6 cloves of garlic, tablespoon of coriander, tablespoon of white pepper, tablespoon of ground cumin, teaspoon of cayenne. I feel like one of the reasons why falafel has been climbing the culinary prestige ladder is the popularity of the Mediterranean cuisine, especially chickpea being one of the best protein coming from plant. Speaking of which, the cultural dominance of the plant-based diet probably contributed to the rise of the falafel as well. You know, now I'm starting to wonder, how did they make falafel in ancient Egypt without the blender? Do they just pound it a lot? This smells so Mediterranean right now. About a teaspoon of baking soda, you know, a good amount of sesame. It's interesting to see this chickpea mixture because it reminds me of hummus, and hummus means dirt because it looks like it. The root word humma in ancient Hebrew means both human and Adam, the first human. The beautiful thing is that God created the first human from dirt, so hummus tied everything together. You could even say that chickpeas is the source of life. By the way, don't fact check that. I may have just made it up.
No more falafel for you!
And drop it in.
Are you dumb?
Another version of the story is that falafel was food for the pharaoh, for the king, because oil would have been way too expensive for the commoners at the time to consume. So in a way, falafel started off as luxury, made it to the street, and came back around. But this is not likely to be true though, according to historians, but what do they know? Why am I using paper plates? I'm embracing the street food culture of Egypt, but in reality, I don't want to wash any more plates. The frying process went so much better than expected. Everything took shape and it smells amazing. The heat really activated the spice. It's pretty much a salad, crumbled up and deep fried. How can it be bad? Traditionally, we're supposed to dip it in some spiced tahini sauce. The calorie is a little brutal there, so we'll just use Frank's. Homemade falafel is so much better than anything I've had in restaurants. The inside is so moist. I had such low hopes to this dish, both in the taste and in my execution. What a pleasant surprise. The untold history of ramen described it as a humble fuel of the working class. This is still apparent as in Japan, most ramen shops are in train stations or near offices like the slot bowl companies in America. It was never supposed to be expensive. The first ramen shop ever to receive a Michelin star was in 2016. I guess it was a pretty good year. Tsuda in Tokyo marked the official presence of ramen in luxury dining. Besides ramen shops, instant ramen in recent years are also going wild. With luxury packaging and famous branding, today will taste maybe not the most expensive, but definitely the most innovative and friendly to my Gabib diet, instant protein ramen. Well, this will be my last time buying from Instagram ads because it told me 3 to 5 days of arrival time and it took 3 weeks. If this video doesn't get published in February, I blame this company. We have 3 different kinds of flavors: black garlic, tom yum, and spicy beef. The macro is supposed to be really good. 350 calories, 14 grams of fat, 29 grams of carbohydrate, 11 of which is fiber, and 28 grams of protein, which is insane for a bag of ramen. Apparently they're most famous for their black garlic flavor, and we're gonna do that first. Yes, I started in cold water because it really doesn't make a difference. It's not like boiling water will make it healthy. Wait. But this ramen is already healthy. Seems like these noodles are a bit more fragile than the regular ramen. Black garlic chicken. Oh, by the way, this is entirely vegan. There's no chicken in this. I doubt that there's black garlic. Smells just like the Maruchan chicken. Let's give it a slurp. The noodle is actually not as fragile as I expected. The texture has a hint of that vegan meat we made a couple episodes ago. Over here. And the broth has a medicinal aftertaste. I don't think I'll buy it again. I feel just a tiny bit scammed. We've done oxtail once before in the beef parts video where I ate testicles, but this butcher's waste is getting more unaffordable each day. I shamed my Jamaican grandmas last time, so to make it up to you, I'll take you to see the best. Park hunting. Finally got a bench. Let's rip into it. It smells so good. Look at that. Dark, rich, braised oxtail all shredded up. The fat distribution is about to be amazing. Alright, let's give it a bite. Jesus. Red wine, spices, pepper, all the aromatics broken down. You don't even feel like you're eating oxtail. It kind of blends into the cheese almost. Plantain. The outside gets kind of dried up, so it tastes like a raisin, like a big banana raisin. Might be the best plantain I've ever had. Not that I eat a lot of them, but it's blowing my mind a little. This whole meal was $28. Gonna have to give it a 9.5. I will certainly be back for this. Our next ingredient quite literally climbed to the top. The earliest record of escargot traces back to ancient Rome, when lower class peasants ate garden snails and the ruling class ate farmed snails for the fattened diet. And the earliest recipe written is called Ramen or whatever, from the 14th century, signaling its prominence in French cuisine. Today we're cooking something similar to that. Probably the simplest dish of the day, starting with a compound butter, thyme, parsley, half an onion, tablespoon of sushi vinegar, and a touch of nutmeg. Nutmeg and snail, 2 things I don't want anything to do with. Escargot's upper class image is most likely linked to French old cuisine. Similar to oysters, it was just once a commoner's protein. The moral of the story is that French chefs know how to PR. Main character of the day, 2 dozen, very large. This is my first time seeing snail or cooking with it because I've never just woke up one day and go, I feel like eating some snails today. That never happened. Let's take a look. Oi. Okay, some of that juice just splashed in my face. It is very large. Oh, you know what this looks like? Like a really badly cut shiitake mushroom. I also got snail plates with the compound butter. Spread it onto these dishes. Every hole, there's a little bit of butter. I wonder what was the logic. The first person who had snails, just seeing them crawling on plants, eating leaves. Let me try it real quick. But still better than the first person who drank milk. That guy's a weirdo. Season. 400-degree oven for 10 minutes. They might crawl slow, but they cook fast. You see a little bit of browning on the side, that means it's cooked through. Turn on max broil. And just to give it a nice crispy top. All right, I never thought I'd say this, but let's eat the snail. You know this baked onion? It's kind of hurting my eye. Snail tastes like the mixture in between a clam and a mushroom. It's kind of chewy, but all I taste is just the compound butter. I think snail itself might have no taste. Is that why people like it? So to take on this butter, I'll give it a 7. I would finish it, but I don't think I'll order it at a restaurant. I have all the aromatics chopped. For the meat, we're gonna do chorizo and chicken, looking kind of purple. Sell by date is February 24th, and today is the 27th. It doesn't smell that bad. Cut into large chunks. Oyster. We don't have to circumcise it. Cut into chunks. Brand new paella pan. Very flat, wide opening to evaporate the water. We're gonna put in a lot of seasoning later. That's why I'm not doing anything to the chicken right now. I know now we see pretty much only seafood paella. Originally, they used undesirable meat like rabbit, beef offal, cured pork, and it's never supposed to be a fancy dish. It's like a peasant, quick anything put in the rice type of thing. With all the flavor left in the pan, start sauteing our vegetables. The moisture from the vegetables is gonna collect all the fond. So we'll do some paprika, some bay leaf, fresh tomatoes, which I don't have, but I have some canned tomato puree. As we start seeing caramelization happening, we glaze it. About 1/3 cup of wine. For the rice, we have to use Valencia arroz. And the most traditional way to add it is kind of like pour it in a crucifixion pattern. Supposedly, this will give the food some like good luck, maybe. Not sure if it's related to Catholicism, but this pattern definitely looks cool, like a shield. That was 2 cups of rice. We do 5 cups of chicken stock. Some saffron to give it that nice herbal flavor as it simmers for 20 minutes or so. So it's been simmering for about 6-7 minutes. Adding the protein from earlier. The juice. Take 2 towels and just shimmy. This step is to make sure all the rice is even, so when it gets reduced down, we have that classic flat paella look. Not really working because the meat is too big. She ain't never said that. Let's give it another try. This is rising to the surface, absorbed a lot of the liquids. We're gonna nestle the shrimps in. So here's the problem. The center is boiling a lot and I feel like the shrimp is getting overcooked there. And the side pieces aren't getting any love at all. So that last couple minutes I did on high heat to let it develop that burnt pieces that get stuck onto the pan. In Spanish they call it the sacrat. My desire to grate cheese on it is really high right now. No liquid fork, so we gotta go with the plastic spoon. Oh nice, we got some of that sakura here. Flavors, great. I think the rice got a little mushy. Maybe we simmered it for too long. But this is great for me because last night I went on a date and the girl was kind of an alcoholic. So I got super drunk. I'm really hungover right now. Soupy rice is a great cure for that. And the chorizo adds so much flavor. I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. Might be a little biased though. This is probably my first or second time having paella. But I think it's just a jambalaya and like a slightly less flavorful jambalaya. Yeah, people in the South do it better. We don't have to use the exact seafood listed on the recipe because it's supposed to be like a byproduct fisherman stew. So we have some Manila clams, supposedly more flavorful. East Coast mussels, I'll take out the seaweed from them a little later. This bag of mysterious white fish. No label, nothing, it's just fish in a bag. But it's the cheapest of the whole store, that's why I grabbed it. We're gonna start with making a broth and then just put it together into a stew. 1 onion, 1 leek, 1 bulb of fennel. The flavors from these 3 vegetables is gonna balance the seafood very well. 3 cloves of garlic, the dough from the fennel, thyme, rosemary, bay leaf, parsley. 2 fresh Roma tomatoes. I feel like I'm tending a bar. And we're supposed to add in some fish bones and shrimp shells to give it that seafood broth flavor. I don't have any of those, so I think we should sacrifice a few to make the collective. pour the soup back into the pot. Once I have the stock come into a boil, it turns into literally the easiest dish of all time. We just drop everything in. The volume really grew as the muscles become erect. And a squeeze of lemon. Usually my tolerance for bad lemon is really high, but this one's scaring me a little bit. Maybe we can try a squeeze of orange with the broth first. Wow, so fresh and flavorful. Clam, shrimp, and some of that mysterious white fish. All the seafood are sourced from questionable stores, so this is exceeding my expectations. For a good bouillabaisse, the only thing you need to worry about is making a great stock, because once that's established, you can just toss everything in, and it'll turn out great. 9 out of 10. Before omakase, Nobu, and places that look Nobu but not actually Nobu, sushi was served in the streets. All the fish were cured, rice was seasoned with vinegar, sugar, and salt so it doesn't grow mold. But once Japanese chefs switched from preserved fish to fresh fish, sushi got completely elevated to luxury. While I do very much appreciate the cuisine, my second date with that alcoholic girl is to a sushi spot, I am a little scared of how expensive it's getting. It's a piece of fish on rice, man. At a certain point, you gotta chill out. Since sushi originated in the streets, we're gonna keep it as simple as possible. Korean packaged rice. You might be judging me, but I think these turn out to be better than the rice I cooked myself from scratch. See how nice it looks? Alright. Ow. 2 tablespoons vinegar, 2 teaspoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt. Sushi rice in under 2 minutes. I'm gonna lay down a piece of nori. Which side is the shiny side to the outside or the rough side?
Lately been feeling myself too hard to be sad when I take a good look at my pockets. Really been stacking this paper. Funny thing is, young niggas just getting it started. Homie, you can ask around. Niggas gon' say this how I get down. I don't lack for a thing for the
Not bad, huh? So why did I use the sushi mat? The future canoe omakase right here. The signature dish of the new Japanese cuisine. I think I should submit this picture to the Michelin guide and see if they can award me a star. Earlier, you guys saw that the rice is a little hot, so I rested it till the rice cooled down, and it looks like the entire dish got better. I think the key to cooking is just patience. So let's give it a taste, huh? That's very good. It almost tastes on par with if I got it from a restaurant. This was a successful experiment. Live footage of Future Canoe dropping a big load of money. Our last ingredient is the fanciest on the list, and we're getting it from a super bougie store too. Caviar is from sturgeons, and the best of them are from the Russian Caspian Sea. Sturgeon meat tastes like shit, so fishermen can't sell it. It was once so abundant that they were seen as pests, so people would catch them, gut their eggs out, preserve those eggs, and serve at local bars as a free snack. Because of overfishing and habitat damage, sturgeons in the Caspian Sea are extremely rare now, directly contributing to the insane prices of caviar. Rarity leads to luxury, a supply-demand issue. I love this bag. I think I'm gonna keep it. The caviar key they gave us. Shiny. And apparently we're not supposed to use a metal spoon because it has chemical reactions. I think I got a pearl caviar set for Christmas last year. I'm gonna try to see if I can find it. Oh, here it is. You know, when I first got it, I thought it was like one of those look-maxing face massager. It's caviar spoon. This is the smallest fucking egg I've ever seen. The one time, I went to PA's apartment and his mom made a bunch of bellinis for the weekend, and he just tossed that whole pan full of bellinis into the fridge. I went back to New York, came back to Boston the next week. The bellinis are still there, but now full of mold. And he never got rid of it until his mom visited again a month later, and his whole house smelled like bellini mold. Yeah, so making this kind of reminded me of that. Sour cream. Probably the most expensive dish we've made on the channel so far. Honestly, it looks the least appetizing. Some chives, shallots, whatever. I don't feel like preparing them. Maybe because I didn't get the highest quality. The brininess is a little intense. It's so fishy, but you know, I'm trying my best to enjoy it since I already spent the money. I don't get the hype, bro. A salty surprise in your mouth. I can get it elsewhere. And this is not even the top level of fine dining. I'll show you what the top level is like. I really love the packaging of the dino nuggets. Chicken breast, no artificial flavor, and a great source of omega-3. If your kids is getting omega-3 from dino nuggets, that's like me eating grass-fed beef for the greens. Time to have fun. Let's go with the T-Rex first. You know, the more I eat it, the more briny it gets. Now it's starting to taste like oysters at happy hour, right before they spoil. Maybe I just have a peasant palate. But this does not taste good. I guess I just don't belong here. Let's make a fried chicken sandwich. Nice. Best dish of the day. Eating dino nuggets and close my eyes, I can almost taste childhood memories of my parents getting a divorce. Nostalgic. Now let's get back to the modern times and make some observations of what kind of ingredients are currently stepping into the realm of luxury. First one being tallow. Up until 5 years ago, I've only heard of tallow being turned into soap, or Bill Burr's family cooked cube steak with it. Now beef tallow is everywhere. I partly blame Google for that, so I got us a tub. Let's see what the hype is all about. I totally did not expect this container to be this huge. What I'm gonna use with this never-ending Wagyu tallow. I have met people that rub this on their face. They're also firm believers of random cryptocurrency, so I'm weighing my options. Is this Haagen-Dazs or Wagyu beef tallow? Smooth, yo. All right, let's load it up. I'm gonna fry the shit out of these eggs. I'm using a long plate because I hate my pancakes and syrup touch my savory side of the plate. Like, what are we doing here? Just trying to enjoy my breakfast. But the key to solving that is just to have pancakes last as like a finishing touch. Take a bite of the bacon. Swine fat. Okay, I have to say, the tallow adds kind of like a layer of animalisticness. Kind of starting to taste like fried chicken. I'm surprised that the egg has the potential to become like chicken. From looking at our earlier recipes, I think we can all agree that health trends sometimes greatly affect the price of an ingredient. As a lot of you guys know, my spring semester started and a lot of my female classmates have been obsessed with cottage cheese. They put it on avocado toast and stuff, but recently a particular type of slop bowl have been taking over school. My friend Taylor sent me this picture and it looks like my mom cooked it. So let's try our best to replicate it. See, we're using tallow again. Keep the continuity going. With this tallow, we'll sear up the ground beef exactly how we would in a taco. It's not Tuesday, but we're partying up in my pants. This is not usually how I eat it, obviously. I kind of just take the whole container, blend it with protein powder, and add an egg to it, bake in the oven for 5 minutes. It tastes exactly like a cheesecake, I'm not even kidding. Cottage cheese, taco meat, half an avocado. Put some sweet potato up there, hand shredded. And I was told that we're supposed to top this whole thing with honey. Again, I don't like sugar in my food. Like, what are we doing here? I'm already suffering with the sweet potato. But the most I'm gonna do is put some Mike's hot honey on top of the beef. Mix it up. Very well-rounded bite. I see where it's going for. Because the texture of the cottage cheese reminds me of beans and rice, kind of like a Mexican bowl. What is the sweet potato doing here? I'm so confused. And the hot honey. I think this would be such a great dish if it's just regular potatoes roasted. Frank's Red Hot. Yeah, 6 out of 10, but high potential. Besides health trends, climate change, or a French chef doing PR, what truly made these ingredients luxury is their ultimate uniqueness, unapologetically standing out from the rest, which stood the test of time. I encourage all of us to do the same. Stay focused and grounded in our own path, because the transformation is never about changing yourself to please others. It's the inevitable recognition of the hard work you've been doing every single day. Alright, thank you.